Hello everyone. So I recently beat all the bosses on Radiant and I decided what better way to use that again for content than to make a tier list. And of course, since everybody has done like a boss tier list, I'm gonna be doing a little unique take where I'm only gonna be ranking them based on their Radiant difficulty, which for those of you that don't know, it's in their difficulty where if you get hit once, you just die. They deal infinite damage apparently. Oh, and this tier list is gonna be in the order of the tablet in the hall. So as you can see, we're going to be going down each column and then moving on to the next, starting from the left to the right. Okay, so first of all, we have Gruz Mother. I mean, I'd give it a meh, because it's not really a hard fight. For me, I think I did it on like my second or third try because of the spikes. And there's not really much to dislike, because it's a pretty simplistic fight. Moving on to the Vengefly, I don't know. I would put it in dislike because the fight takes a little long, but at the same time, it's just like Grozmother where it's not too difficult, so you can like get it done in one try or so. Then we have Brooding Moloch. If you asked me from before, I'd probably say decent, but now I'd probably say good because I feel like there's actually some difficulty in this one. Because usually the regular Moloch, it's pretty easy. And don't get me wrong, this is still pretty easy to do hitless thanks to Descending Dark's iframes. But it still does have a little bit of action. Like you do have a threat that you might get killed. Like there's some action to this, so I'll give it a B tier. I think it's good. Then we have the False Knight, which I think I'll put it in meh. Because once again, it's one of those easy fights where there's nothing like bad about it. It's just a little easy. Then we have the False Champion. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. So, I think I'll put it in good tier again, because while it was super annoying, and I was gonna put it in dislike before, once I learned the pattern that he has, where what he actually does is, if he jumps forward, he's just gonna do the hammer down attack, okay? And if he goes backwards, that's when he's gonna make the shockwave. So I didn't notice that pattern for a while, but once you notice the pattern, it's actually pretty fun boss. I'd say it's okay. Then we have Hornet. I'll give it a decent because it's an okay fight. You can do it so quickly. There's Shawless runs, which is a little bit weird of a category. Then we have Hornet Sentinel, which I like the difficulty spike, but at the same time I don't like that she litters on the playground. Okay, I'll put this one here. Next up we have Moss Charger. I don't even. I'll just put it here. I can't dislike it, and actually decent because it is so fun to just equip like Mark of Pride, Quick Slash, and just stand there and just keep swinging. It's not because the boss fight is like good or decent. It's just because it feels so funny to me. Then we have Fluke Marm. I think it's pretty obvious why it's a meh tier. I mean, you literally just pogo on top of her, or you're at the bottom and you just spam Abyss Shrieks, and the Abyss Shrieks kill the things that she spawns in. So it's basically not difficult at all. And if you lose, it does just feel annoying. Then we have the Mantis 3. I would say it's a good boss fight. Yeah, it is one of the easier ones to Radiant. Like, I think I did it on my first try. But it still does have some action, and you do feel like a threat that you might die. So you do have to still play somewhat carefully, even though you do kill them a little bit quickly, because now you have this completely upgraded gear and all these spells. Then we have Sisters of Battle. Honestly, because of the intensity of this fight, I think this is my favorite fight to like try to do on maybe like another device or a console. Something I'm not used to because usually I only play Hollow Knight on my main PC. But I've begun like playing more on my Nintendo Switch, more on my laptop. And laptop doesn't have a mouse, so usually I avoid doing stuff like Pure Vessel, Nightmare King Grim, Absolute Radiance, because they're a lot tougher when you're not used to the setup. But Sisters of Battle is a good in between, where even if I'm not used to the setup, I think I can get it done within like 5 tries. And it still feels difficult to do, but it's super rewarding once you learn the patterns. So that's why I put it in my favorites. So it's S tier. Oh, Oblobbles. How convenient. There's a tier right here. Yeah, okay. So my issue with this is it's just bullet hell. It feels like you just kind of have to get lucky for a lot of it, or you have to be like really patient. Where when it's one oblobble, you just nail, like you use a nail art like great slash or dash slash, and then you just run away. And you know, that's not really that fun. It's more like just a patience game. And you still might die anyways because, you know, RNG. Okay, then we have Hive Knight. Hmm. I think I'll just put him I think I'll put him in good because his attacks are pretty creative, and it feels pretty fun to use Descending Dark whenever he does the Needles attack. And then whenever he summons the bees, you just get some free hits. So, I mean, it's a pretty fun fight because there is some risk, but it's mostly just stabbing simulator. Broken Vessel. I think this one is yeah, I like it. I really like the radianting him because you just get so many staggers. It feels satisfying. And you do, like, whenever I beat him on Radiant, there was always, like, a lot of close calls. Like, oh, he was about to hit me when I jump over his attack while he's dashing at me. So, you know, there's still that sense of threat, which I really do like. Then we have Lost Skin. Honestly, I'd say, I mean, this is a bit tough, because this guy took me a while. And he was a little bit annoying how I kept dying to those, like, floaty things. Yeah, I think this is A tier. This is a pretty good fight. It's pretty challenging, even when you know the patterns. Unlike, you know, False Champion, where once you know the pattern, it's just like a chill fight, kind of. So yeah, I'll put this guy in amazing. Pretty good boss fight. Okay, then we have Nosk, you know what I mean? I feel like I just want to put him in meh, because, like, even if you remove the platform, I feel like it's always just his attack where he stops and he just spews out orange. Like, I had to use the Sprint Master Charm just because it was so annoying how I kept dying to that attack. It just, those, like, attacks where he just spews orange, like any enemy, just spewing orange, and then you can, like, actually die to it because it's dangerous. I feel like that's a bit annoying. So yeah. I'll just put that guy right here in meh. And I think Wing Nosk also goes here, just because it's like Vengefly King but reskinned. Okay, then we have the Collector. I think I'll put him in decent, because it does feel a little bit good to just like stab stab. He jumps over you, so you stab stab to the other way. It feels pretty rhythmic, right? And whenever the jars drop, you just go on a scavenger hunt. You go one jar, slash, alright, go to the next one, slash, go to the next one, slash, he comes down, you start attacking him. It's pretty alright. Then we have, okay, this one did feel a little bit of annoying because of the ant lady. However, I do think it's still alright. I do like pogoing. Although it does get annoying because on Nintendo Switch, I don't know what's up with me, but it's so hard to pogo. Though I am using the Joy-Cons. I'm not using like the Pro Switch controller. Maybe that'll change my mind. I don't know. But like if it was Nintendo Switch, this is going in E. But you know, it's PC. I can pogo pretty well on here. So yeah, C for decent. Then we have Crystal Guardian. I'm tempted to put him in good tier, but let's be honest, there's not really difficulty. It's just you have a lot of fun smacking this guy around. So I'll put him in decent. And then we have Enraged Guardian, which is just basically a more difficult, quote unquote, or more challenging version. I don't think it deserves good tier. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I'm just dashing through him and then just hitting him. And then when he looks at me, I just dash through him again. I start hitting him. Like, they're functionally the same boss. Yeah. Okay. Umu, I think, will be my first dislike. Just because it was pretty annoying to radiant him. Because I kept, like, getting greedy sometimes. And I tried to, fling the jellyfish from up and then down into Umu. And, you know, that doesn't always work out well. And they took out the floor, which I don't know why, but there's so many bosses where the Ascended or Radiant versions just remove the floor. Like, hello, what? You couldn't have done anything else, please? So yeah, because of that, I'm gonna put Umu in E for dislike, because it is a bit of a waiting game. Then we have Trader Boy. Trader Boy. I think I'll put him in good. And my reason for this is while he is just like a fancier regular Trader Mantis, what is cool about him is the dash attack where you just shadow dash through him and you just keep on attacking. I feel like that's pretty cool. You get into like a rhythm where you just hit him, hit him, hit him, dash through him, he goes up, and then he starts dashing at you again, so you dash through him after you're hitting him. It's like, it's pretty rhythmic fight. Like, you can kind of turn your brain off and just gaming until he does the earthquake and then you die. But if you just have a little bit of patience, it's alright. Oh, next up, we have a lot of people's probably least favorite boss, Grey Prince Zoe. Where do I put this guy? On one hand, he is like purposefully a bad boss. Like the animations really don't match up. And I really dislike how he just goes into the sky and then just relocates himself and drops down on you. Like I would put him in dislike, but since Descending Dark iframes really allow you to cheese this guy a lot, and he does stand still when spewing out those I don't know, other Zolings. I think, yeah, I'll put him in meh, because he would be decent if the telegraphs were maybe a little bit better, but that's on purpose. And he would be dislike if he was harder, but he wasn't too hard with Descending Dark iframes. I will admit that it's a bit of RNG, which is why I might put him in dislike later, but for now I'll just leave him in meh. I think that's fine. Next up, we have the totally a boss guy. This guy doesn't really feel like a boss, because, you know, he's right before the Soul Master, and also he doesn't have many unique attacks. I feel like it's a decent tier, because there's nothing really special about this fight. It barely even feels like a boss fight. Moving on to Soul Master, I feel like Soul Master might also go in the same tier, because it is a bit of a slow fight. It's like you don't get to do much for a while, and you're kind of just fighting him and hoping that you don't take a hit instead of, like, you know, being a little bit more aggressive. Then we have Soul Tyrant, which I feel like is Soul Master, but with a lot of the problems like fixed up. So I'll say it's a good tier because it's a little bit faster. Like you actually get some action. Soul Master, a lot of the time you're just standing still, and then if he does the dive attack, you just jump and you wait a little bit, and if he does the fake out, you just double jump. Meanwhile, with Soul Tyrant, yeah, you do the same thing, but it has like a shorter window. Like you're more likely to die if you mess that up. Then we have Dung Defender. I'll say good, which I get that, yeah, there's not really that much difficulty, but like descending darking him out of the ground does feel pretty awesome. And then we have White Defender, which is just a harder version of Dung Defender. And I feel like it's amazing. I just put him above Dung Defender because, you know, Dung Defender is a little too easy, I feel like. So it's not as rewarding as beating White Defender. Okay, so then we have Watcher Knights. We're just gonna put them in meh tier. Because my biggest gripe with this is that the two Watcher Knights don't really feel like they have coordination. Like one of them will just be rolling like this, and then the other might just start going, oh, he's rolling, let's roll too. And then one day they're just, one is rolling like this, one is like this. And it just doesn't feel like there's coordination, unlike the Mantis 3 or the Sisters of Battle, where you can really feel the coordination with your enemies. Like they actually feel like they have teamwork, they have a sense of camaraderie. And then No Eyes, I think it's somewhere between meh and dislike. There's no real pattern to it, and you can, like, there is a bit of RNG, because if you smack her into the wall, you get a much faster fight. I think I'll put in dislike. Yeah, it doesn't feel very satisfying as a fight, and there's not much going on. You kind of just have to be really patient if you want to beat it first try, rather than learning the pattern, being skilled, etc. Then we have Marmu, which I think I'll just put in meh tier. There's not anything special. She only has one attack, and sometimes you can make her go too fast and then you just die, which is annoying. But also, she doesn't really take a lot of tries. I think I got her down on like my 5th try, maybe? Or my 3rd, I don't know. But yeah, I'll put her here because you don't have to go through her a whole lot. It's like a short suffering. You don't have to suffer for that long. Then we have Galleon. Okay, this guy I feel like is decent, because there is some threat of dying with the scythe just bouncing around, and it does feel pretty good to predict where the scythe is going to go, where all his other projectiles are going to go, and you still, like, there is the risk that he just bumps into you, which is a bit annoying, because he doesn't take knockback, so you might just walk into him, but I feel like it's a decent fight. It's not one of the better fights, but it is a decent fight, especially on Radiant, because, you know, on regular, he doesn't really have a threat. You can just like face tank him, just rush him, and you still get like a win most of the time. Oh, hey guys, Markoth here. Let's put him in. No, I'm kidding. You know, I would put him in F tier, but also I feel like it's just really the off screening, and if he bumps into you, that makes this fight annoying. I feel like otherwise with Nailites, this is a pretty okay fight, and you can just Abyss Shriek his later phase. Yeah, I put him in dislike. I'll put him at the top of, well, actually no, at the bottom of dislike, because that means I dislike him the most out of these three. which I think is pretty good order. Oh yeah, I might order them in the end. So like I'll put whichever one is more meh than the other or is closer to decent. Like for example, I think Vengefly is closer to decent. Not really. But yeah, like I'll just order them at the end a little bit. Then we have Zero, which I feel like it's decent. There's not really any difficulty and it's annoying how you can't, well, there is some difficulty, but if you like know the pattern of the nails and you only go for like one attack at a time, then you're probably not gonna lose. And also, Abyss Shriek doesn't really work against him. Like if you Abyss Shriek him, let's say he's here, he just goes, just flies all over the map and just walks right into you. So that makes it not good because that is super annoying. So yeah, I'll just put him in decent. And then Gorb, I feel like is also a decent because it's just the same thing. He doesn't really change up his attacks at all. Elder Who, yeah, decent. Most of the Warrior Dreams are like decent or below because, you know, they're a little bit gimmicky. I'll say that. Okay, then we have, I forgot their names. Hold on. Maro? Oh, wait, no. Mato and Oro. Yeah, okay. Oro and Mato. I feel like this is a bit of a decent more than a good, but I'm not sure. It's like, here's the thing. When you're in the phase where there's two of them, it can get so annoying when they randomly just desync. Like, you know how usually when you're between them, they should do like that attack where they both attack towards you. But sometimes one of them will just slice the ground and the other will just jump. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Why? Why are you guys not cooperating anymore? Hello? So yeah, it doesn't have the same level of cooperation as the Mantis 3, so I'll put it here. Okay, then we have Paintmaster Shio. It's short-lived, but I think it's pretty good done. Like, I think it's pretty well done. You know how his paintbrush telegraphs his attacks and everything? It's a pretty fun fight to go through and, like, finding all his vulnerabilities and how to dodge all the attacks in, like, unique ways. I feel like that makes it more fun. Dude, Sly? I don't like this guy. Obviously, he's better than No Eyes. And I think Umo's still worse. Yeah. Oh wait, no, Umo's better. But yeah, I really disliked Sly. It felt like sometimes it just should not be hitting me. He should not have hit me. I don't know why it took me so long on this guy. Because honestly, it's not that difficult. But dude, he somehow kept on hitting me when he clearly should not have been able to. Which is what makes me so mad. And why I'm putting him in dislike. Moving on, we have, okay, clearly, this guy is at the top. He is my favorite boss fight. And it's because he's just a fast-paced action fight, and you really get rewarded for pattern recognition. And there's multiple ways to dodge his attacks. Like, for example, his parry. If you, like, accidentally make him parry you, then you can just parry his parry. And if he's doing the three slash attack, you can just parry that. If he's doing the gun attack, you can either shadow dash, or you can, like, descending dark or move to the right. Or if he's doing the void tendrils, you can just go super far away if he's far enough away. Or just like start pogoing on him, maybe dash through him. You don't, or like start wall climbing. Like there's so many ways to dodge each of his attacks. So it really allows for creativity. And he's still a difficult boss. And as the fight progresses, you get more and more attacks. So it becomes more and more exciting and more unique and dynamic. Like, clearly, this guy is my favorite. So yeah, that's why I put him at S tier. This guy's, I think, my favorite boss fight. Then we have Regular Grim. I think Regular Grim on Radiant would have been, like, a S tier. But since Nightmare King Grim exists, this one just felt a little too slow. So I'll put Grim in A tier. Then we have Nightmare King Grim, which I think would be, like, my third or fourth favorite. Or maybe my second favorite, even. It's a pretty good boss. Like, there's not much to say. He's just, there's a pattern, and he goes through the pattern very fast. And once you learn the pattern, you get rewarded for it, which is pretty cool. Next up, we have Absolute Radiance. Yeah, you know, if I had to put it just based off emotion, I'd probably put it here, because it feels like there's too much RNG involved with this, right? Like, there's so much RNG that either I go through the first phase in maybe, like, 25 seconds, or it takes me like about 2 minutes just because she's doing all this nail wall stuff and then like she does the horizontal nail wall and then the vertical. which like, or maybe the light on light combo where she does the light beams as the light wall is passing through, so I can't see the light beam. So yeah, those two get very annoying. But one thing to note is that you do get a really good sense of achievement once you beat it. And it is a boss fight that looks super cool. And if you beat it on Radiant, like to your friends that don't play Hollow Knight, this does, I think, maybe look the epicest. Just because there's so much stuff on the screen and there's overlapping attacks and it looks so cool. So I begrudgingly will put it in amazing, even though I don't really, I literally, like I had a pretty hard time with this, and it was a lot of annoying times. But still, because it's just such an epic boss fight, I'm gonna put it in A tier. Okay, now I'm gonna reorder the list, shuffle it up a little bit, just make sure of my placements real quick. Alright, and I think with that, the list is done. So, here you have my favorites. I think Pure Vessel is my favorite one. Sisters of Battle comes in at a close second. And I think Nightmare Grim should be third because the fight does feel a little like long and more of an endurance test. So yeah, the closer a boss is to the left, that means that they're closer to being the next tier. So for example, in decent tier, I think Oro and Mato are the best fight in here. And keep in mind, by the way, that this is on Radiant difficulty. If I was just scoring the bosses on regular, like it would be very different than this. So yeah, this is based on the Radiant difficulties. How well do I think the boss fight is made for Radiant difficulty? Because obviously, most of these boss fights were probably not made with Radiant difficulty in mind. Which is why some boss fights, which originally I would have liked, eventually just became very annoying in Radiant difficulty. So yeah, that wraps up the tier list, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more videos, then make sure to